First, the monsters. We are playing 3 Batteryman Charger. If this is normal summoned, you can special summon any Batteryman monster from the deck, and it gains 300 attack for each Batteryman monster on the field. Then we are playing 3 9-volt. If this is summoned, you can add any Batteryman monster from your deck to the hand. Then 2 Fuel Cell. Oftentimes you will use the Charger to summon 9-volt and the 9-volt to add Fuel Cell, because Fuel Cell can special summon itself if there's 2 or more Batterymans already on the field, and it can tribute a Batteryman monster to target one card your opponent controls and return it to the hand. Next is 3 Solar. Solar on normal or special summon sends any Thunder monster from your deck to the graveyard, and if a Thunder monster is special summoned while this card is on the field, you have to special summon a Batteryman token. You can use the token for the Fuel Cell effect to tribute it to bounce a card your opponent controls, and this is neat because it can send you stuff like 9-volt to the graveyard. And the last Batteryman monster we are playing is a 2 of Industrial Strength. This can be special summoned by banishing 2 Batteryman monsters from your graveyard, and it has a really cool removal effect. It can banish a Thunder monster from your graveyard to non-target destroy a monster and a spell or trap on the field. The banishing isn't even cost, it's a really cool card. Next, for the Gem Knights, we are playing only 1 Gem Knight monster in the main deck. We are playing Gem Knight Quartz. We can send this to the graveyard if our opponent controls a monster to set a continuous fusion spell from our deck, and then we are locked into Gem Knight monsters from the extra deck. But Batteryman don't really need the extra deck, so this is completely fine. Then we are playing 2 Pankratops. Pankratops is just great if you go second. It's a card you can chain to cards your opponent has. It's on 2600. It's really cool. It's not an activated effect to special summon itself. And worst case, this is just tribute for your Charger. Then as some equalizers, we are playing 3 Droll and Lockbird, because many decks can't play through Droll this format, as well as 3 Nibiru, because Nibiru gives both our opponent a monster and it gives us a monster that we can tribute for our tribute summon. And now the spells. We are playing 3 Scatter Fusion. You can set this with the Quartz, and it's a really cool card. You can activate this if your opponent controls a monster to fusion summon a non-rock Gem Knight monster from your extra deck using materials from your deck as material, and then you are locked into Gem Knight monsters from the extra deck for the rest of the turn. You can brick with this if you draw all of your Gem Knight monsters in the main deck, because then this can't fusion summon anything. But it's still a really good card, because this basically is a Foolish Burial and it's a double summon. It's really cool. Then we are playing 3 Time Tearing Morganite. Morganite is a double summon as well, and it allows you to draw 2 cards for the rest of the duel, but it stops you from using any monster effects in the hand. Because you don't have any monster effects in the hand that activate except for the hand traps, this is decent, because you can, for example, normal summon the 9-volt, then 9-volt add Charger, normal summon Charger over the 9-volt. It's really cool, but you can play this at 2. Then we are playing 3 Battery Charger. This can pay 500 life points to non-target special summon a Batteryman monster from our graveyard. And we are playing a Monster Reborn. All of these are cool because these make Solar become full combo pretty much. So you can normal summon Solar, dump whichever Batteryman monster you need, and then you can use Monster Reborn or Battery Charger to special summon that Batteryman monster from your graveyard. Now, another Batteryman spell we are playing is Short Circuit. This we can activate if we control 3 or more Batteryman monster, and it destroys all cards that our opponent controls. I resolved this yesterday against Vanquish Soul, and it's just devastating because it destroys the back row and all the monsters. It doesn't target. It's a really cool card. The downside is that you have to control the 3 Batteryman monster. So you don't really want to open with this unless you have a way to really see the 3 Batteryman monsters. Because you could just search this with Thrust anyway. We are playing 2 Thrust. This way you can thrust into the Short Circuit and then Short Circuit destroy all cards your opponent controls. Finally, we are playing a single Duster in case we play against some back row matchup. And then for the 40th card, we are playing a Snatch Steal. I played Change of Heart for some time over the Snatch Steal, just because Change of Heart is a normal spell and you can search it with Trust. But Snatch Steal is a bit better. Just because Snatch Steal lets you keep the monster if you can't OTK your opponent. but you can play Change of Heart over the Snatch Steal. Yep, those were all the 40 cards in the main deck. Let's jump right into the extra deck. In the extra deck, we have one Gem Knight Lady Rose Diamond. This can be fusion summoned by using 2 Gem Knight Quartz from the deck. And it says that if our opponent activates a monster effect during our turn, we can banish a Gem Knight monster from our graveyard to target a face-up card our opponent controls and destroy it. This is not once per chain, which is really, really cool. Then we are playing one Gem Knight Seraph Knight. This can be fusion summoned by using a Gem Knight monster and a light monster. This way we can use Scatter Fusion to dump any Batteryman monster we need to the graveyard, and it has a continuous effect to give us another normal summon. And the normal summon even stacks with Time Tearing Morganite, which is really, really cool. So you can have 3 normal summons during your turn. Then for the Xyz, we are playing a Tornado Dragon, a Baguska, and a Dweller. Baguska and Dweller are kind of your going first plans. Then a Cowboy to Cowboy for game. This came up multiple times already, I gotta say. A Typhon. This is rather important in the extra deck as well, but if you don't have the money to buy it, you don't have to play it. And a Zeus, which we can summon with any of the Xyz monsters. Then for the Link monsters, we are playing a Linguribo because we don't want to be Ibli locked, even though we got Charger to tribute summon over Ibli, but with some hands we don't like to have the Ibli on field. Then a Phoenix, a Dagger, and Pit Knight Early, as well as a Geonator Transversor. All of these are decent Link 2s, as well as a BLS Soldier of Chaos. You can use the Industrial Strength to Link summon this and have it gain its additional effect. And for the last monster in the extra deck, we are playing an Underworld Goddess of the Closed World. This came up surprisingly often as well, because I already had some matches against Cleese, and then Underworld Goddess of the Closed World was the MVP pretty much, because outing Clifford Towers in this deck was a bit of a struggle, I gotta admit. In the side deck, we are playing 3 Denko Sekka. Because you have access to multiple normal summons most of the time, you don't really care about spending one of the normal summons on the Denko Sekka, and there's no card that you really want to set. Then 3 D-Shifter. If you play this, just side out the Monster Reborn and the 3 Battery Charger. 3 Cosmic Cyclone. For some time, I played Magnamut and 2 Druisworm over this, but this is just better for the decks that are played at my locals, because I have multiple Runic players at my locals. This is just better. But if you know that the Bestials would be better for your locals, play one of Magnamut and 2 Druisworm instead. Then 1 Lightning Storm, because we can trust into Lightning Storm as well, and it's great against monsters and back row. And if you are made to go first, you can play Different Dimension Ground. You can set this with Trust if your opponent hand traps you. 1 of Gozen and 1 of Rivalry, because you can play with only light thunder monsters. Then 1 summon limit and another summon limit for the 15th card. Yeah, I really like this deck. I am a big enjoyer of blind second decks already, and I really loved Batteryman in Duel Links. I really like Gem Knights, and it's funny to play Gem Knights in something that isn't an FTK. Yeah. I played in 2 tournaments with this already. Once I had 2 wins, 1 draw and 0 losses, and once I had 2 wins, 0 draws and 1 loss. The deck is decent, I'll say. It's definitely not a tier 0 meta threat, but because of so many board breakers and the ability to just continue playing with the 3 normal summons per turn, it's good against very many decks, and your opponent is not going to expect you to blind second as well. The Droll and Nibiru in main deck definitely help. I'll say that much, because there are many decks that can't play through either one of those this format. But yeah, the blind second tools are the thing that makes the deck click. So if you want to play a blind second deck, or if you want to dust off your Batteryman deck or Gem Knight deck, then this might be the right deck for you. Do you have any deck you want to see in the next video? Then post it in the comments below. I had somebody suggesting Thunderclap Skywolf for the next video. I am working on that right now. And I had someone else suggesting Potan OTK for the next video. Maybe one of the 2 videos, something that might interest you, then comment below. I'm currently working on both of them, so Potan OTK or Thunderclap Skywolf might be next. But if you have something that you want to see really, really urgently, then just comment it below, and yeah, I'd be happy about a like and subscribe. See you in the next video. Goodbye.